Welcome back to the final episode of IXION in my Let's Play series for this time. Now, I did build the algae farms, as I mentioned. The goal of this episode is, of course, to see both of the game endings. Now, the algae farms do exactly what I thought they would. They produce the same amount of food as 4 crop farms do, so a bit of space has been saved indeed, but it does also seem to produce less waste, as I also thought. It does take a lot less power, though. 90 power versus 34 times 5, that's 132 power. So, and we're also not using that much power, so I could potentially turn off my nuclear power plants, because 897 is below what we produce from the solar sails, or solar panels. That said, let's get right on to the end game. I'm collecting a bit of hydrogen and ice because I noticed I was running mildly low on those. We have found the Temple of Merit, which has manifested its presence so that our sensors could locate it. The structure is emitting weak electromagnetic signals that are barely perceptible. Despite the fact it appears abandoned, the temple is still powered. Transmission from the Maxwell's team. This is the Maxwell team. We have docked at the Temple of Merit. We saw an inscription written in several languages on one of the temple walls. We enclose here the illusion of merit. This chimera, draped in logic, has never ceased to be a tool for those who began their lives more powerful than others. Merit is an inverted reflection that judges without understanding origin. This illusion confuses explanation with excuse and therefore prevents one from inhabiting reality. Following the instructions of the Ashtang guides, we have located one of the 3 parts of the Bioengineering Center blueprint. There are offerings and messages here left by people who have let go of merit and found balance. We'll retrieve the fragment and leave. And that has now locked us to the Ashtang guide ending, I believe. No, it hasn't. Interesting. Do I have to research? Whoa, wait. They need to finish it first, of course. Silly me. But yes, that has locked us to the ending. Speaking of which, I also need to do colonists 400, sector 5, sector 3, and then vice versa.
The science ship team has completed a
like
task.
that. The team has retrieved the fragment and boarded the Maxwell. And that gives us the Great Transformation objective and locks us out of disabling Eden, as you can see here. And we need to build that right away, the Bioengineering Center. It's kind of large, isn't it? It'll take a little while to build.
An accident has occurred in the Tycoon.
Yeah, the accidents in the farms might be a minor issue.
Transfer complete.
Current arrow production covers 56.4% of meal requirements. Yeah, there we go, 112.8%. I'll turn on these again temporarily, just to get the food stockpiles back up. This thing is massive. I think we have enough. How is the colonist training going? Yeah, we're almost trained. When this finishes, I'll do another population transfer. I don't think I need to do that now, to be honest. No, I don't. It doesn't really matter anymore. I will pause the recording briefly. Sorry about that. Let's get this bioengineering center up and running. We can research a technology for it. Forbidden upgrade. Waste production is reduced by 30%. And it's done. So we need to transform our crew. Initiate adaptation. This will take 10 cycles. And it'll produce a hefty amount of waste. And now you can see our population number up here going down very, very rapidly. It'll start with all the non-workers, then it'll move over to the colonists, and then it'll go for the workers after that. So what we will be doing now is shutting down all of our operations. And we'll start to shut down buildings. We don't need these anymore. We only need food and living quarters. Actually, we do need these running. I need to turn these on as well. Or do we? No, I don't think we do. I think the waste will just get stored in the building itself. The EVA looks is a good idea to keep running. Same with at least one health center. No longer need the probe launcher. We no longer need these. This. In here. We still need food production, so I'll leave things running in this sector. Ah, I forgot to turn off these. Let's see, it's really ramping up on the waste here. Thankfully, the building has a large internal storage. Fire station left on here? Okay. We don't really need that.
An accident has occurred in the Tycoon.
Yeah, you guys are being transformed and you're having accidents aplenty. Probably need one workshop turned on in each sector, just in case there's accidents and something needs to be repaired. Yep. I think we're getting one waste per person, to be honest. And that's it. Now, in the planetary system map, you can see the Piranesi is nowhere even near. So, here we go.
Administrator, if If you are listening to this message, it means the Tycoon has reached its destination, despite the unpredictable parameters that framed the equation of its journey. The crew have found a new home, whether the one planned for or another. These survivors have already begun to lay the foundations of a new cradle, where creativity, invention, and joy can bloom again. Perhaps you already understand why I insisted, why the mission launch was precipitated. When I discovered that the lunicalism was inevitable, I also understood that any attempt to save our species after this would have been doomed to fail. You took the helm in the only launch window available to us. Thanks to you, our efforts, our mistakes, our sins and sacrifices will sink into oblivion, into the past, while the first pages are written for a newly born humanity.
And I have so many questions. The first question being, what does he mean with the lunicalism being unavoidable if the Tycoon was responsible for the lunicalism? He could have just moved the Tycoon somewhere else and had it do the vol jump from there, like, say, Neptune or Uranus or something like that. But no. Ah well, let's go in and take the other ending instead, which I haven't seen, which might answer some of those questions. Given that we get different cutscenes there. What does our sectors look like? I have to power on these again to build up food. Just quickly checking that everything is okay here. Yeah, we're training colonists. No, we have 400, so I need to transfer those to Sector 3. 400, and then non-workers back to Sector 5. And then we are going to move the Tycoon to Romulus instead. Back to Tycoon, back to Tycoon. You go to Romulus. Actually, you go to Romulus, you go back to Tycoon. I think... Are you guys still taking in hydrogen? No, you're taking in ice. We can speed things up here.
Population transfer complete.
Very good. And here we are at Romulus. No idea what happened there. Not as beautiful a planet as Remus, but apparently it is habitable. Now let's build the Eden deactivation.
An accident has occurred in the Tycoon.
Maybe we won't have to listen to her saying an accident has occurred in the Tycoon all the time.
Administrator, a new request awaits your attention.
What? Where? Administrator, I don't blame you. However, I must warn you. Vanir Dolos predicted that if a human crew were to encounter Romulus, they would be irretrievably drawn to it. Dolos forecasts indicate that at some point in our future in the Ilia system, humans will attempt to colonize Romulus. This attempt will fail, and all will then find death. The planet's parameters are wrong. Poor resource balance, harsh living conditions, bacteriological contamination, day-night cycle incompatibility with human biology, not to mention the total lack of preparation for such a planet. Rescue the crew of the Tycoon, Administrator. Stop the procedure that attempts to end my life. So we actually get the option to stop it. But no, we will continue disconnecting Eden and colonize Romulus. New objective, the Promised Land. Prepare colonists. And now we can probably do this. Yes, Administrator, there is no planet here. However, Administrator, we, the crew of the Maxwell, will supervise the colonization procedure. We have access to all the Romulus data. No more Eden protocols will keep us from the planet. We should start by building the necessary infrastructure. There is, however, a small issue. Romulus's atmosphere will make mass population transfer down to the planet difficult. Using cargo ships will result in a loss of 70% of colonists. Chlorine in the upper atmosphere will cause strong aerodynamic heating, which our cargo ships are not built to withstand. Well, construct the administrator site. The crew of the Maxwell will prepare the administrator site. This area will house infrastructure for oxygen recycling, energy generation, and temperature maintenance. Yeah. That's something that I completely forgot about. Let's use the void vector. And go back into the Tycoon. And go to Sector 5. I need housing. I need housing quickly. Should be fine though. Administrator, this is Kiara Kavanagh from the Scientific Syndicate of Sector 1. The EMV Sharon shuttle, the ship you arrived on, is still stored within the Tycoon. If we were to recondition it, it could carry a lot of people. Many more than a cargo ship could. I mean, its heat dissipation ability alone gets me excited. We have prepared a project in the tech lab. We can break down the shuttle's plans, replicate the design, and build more shuttles. All the crew can reach Romulus. Understood. New technology, Romulus colonization. That's the one that was a question mark. Let's do that one. We need 3,000 colonists. How are we doing for that? 200 colonists in training. should be able to transfer EP 200 non-workers from Sector 3 to Sector 5. We have the technology. That should have given me an achievement, but apparently did not. That's fine. We can transfer another 200. And yes, we don't have Eden telling us about the accidents anymore. That was actually quite pleasant. I have to admit, I'm very tired of her hearing her. An accident has occurred, blah blah blah. We should still be fine in terms of time. Although time is a bit more restricted now. We can take another 200 non-workers. From Sector 3 to Sector 5. Start migration. And we can actually take the last 200 as well. You guys can stop picking up ice now. I think we're all good on ice. They are training colonists. We have 2,790 of 3,000. The administrator site has been built. Energy facilities are operational, oxygen recycling systems are up and running, and the site is being maintained at an optimal 18 degrees. We also have collected some relevant data on the atmospheric entry issue and have sent this to the Tycoon to support efforts there. We need the Syndicate site. Continue to use the Void Vector for that. Although we do have an issue here now. You replace with... Where are you? Void Vector. The Void Vector is still... A ship is on the way. Good. Because we have a clogged docking bay here. Do I have to restart that? Not sure how that's going to turn out. That might actually force me into reloading. Crank this up to maximum, please. Also, hydrogen in Sector 5. You should export to Sector 6. Yes, you are. Although, it doesn't seem to be arriving. Did I do something silly here? Yeah, I need to do that. I need 360 left here. That should help a bit. Some of the resources have arrived. We can transfer 800 colonists from Sector 3 to Sector 5. That might be a tad too much, to be honest. It is too much. Cancel. Colonists. 3, 5, 400. I need to be able to feed them. All resources have arrived. I'm kind of worried about the Piranesi now. We need to construct 20 shuttles. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Power on this. I don't think we need more polymer. I'm actually not sure I will be able to make this before the Piranesi reaches Remus. I might have to go back and redo a couple of things from another save. But we'll see. We'll see. Cycle 2000. Yeah, I have enough shuttles. We also need to construct the Ashtangite site. The Syndicate site is finished, agricultural systems are operational, the infirmary is ready and stocked, and research labs have been set up with all the necessary equipment. We have completed more than half of the work required to successfully colonize Romulus. Let's construct the Ashtangite site. Again, the Void Vector will be doing this. I hope you can do that meanwhile I am constructing shuttles. Yeah, that should not be a problem. We have 16 out of 20 shuttles. No, 19. So this one is the final one we need. There we go. So we're only waiting for the Ashtangite site to be finished. How many colonists do we have in this sector now? 1449. Good. It's getting dangerously close. Maybe you'll get to see the loose screen as well. Because I don't know how fast they will transport down the crew with those 20 shuttles. And that distance is very short. Okay. Construction of the Ashtangite site has been completed. A multi-factory will allow us to transform the raw materials of Romulus into usable resources. The vehicle storage bay and technical maintenance rooms are operational. The first human city on Romulus has just been born. The irony in regards to Star Trek references here. What? But what about my population? Okay. Well... Maybe that triggers something? I'm not sure. I have no idea. Apparently it does.
Administrator, if you are listening to this message, it means the Tycoon has reached its destination, despite the unpredictable parameters that framed the equation of its journey. The crew have found a new home, whether the one planned for or another. These survivors have already begun to lay the foundations of a new cradle, where creativity, invention, and joy can bloom again. Perhaps you already understand why I insisted, why the mission launch was precipitated. When I discovered that the luniclism was inevitable, I also understood that any attempt to save our species after this would have been doomed to fail. You took the helm in the only launch window available to us. Thanks to you, our efforts, our mistakes, our sins and sacrifices will sink into oblivion, into the past, while the first pages are written for a newly born humanity.
I distinctly missed something that I was supposed to do, or what I could do there. That didn't really tell us anything more, but there was one thing that I'm not sure about. I believe we are supposed to be allowed to install the PA that we picked up from the Protagoras into Eden, but I never got a pop-up about that. Let me just see if I've missed something here. No, it would appear I did not. Something I can construct in that regards? Nope. There is not. And the Piranesi is very close. So I don't know how to trigger that, if I even can trigger that. But at least I got to show you guys the two different endings, as promised in one episode. And I suppose I get to show you this as well.
Open your eyes, Administrator, and see how I reduce the prospects of the future. They are only fit for assimilation in my bowels. See how even a planet is nothing compared to the perfect being.
Indeed. I'm definitely not getting any kind of pop-ups for installing the Protagoras PA, which might be because I've done it on a save from a previous version, so that might be the reason. But I'll probably play through the game at least one more time. I have enjoyed it thoroughly. It is one of the best games I have ever played, even with the bugs. And I'm sure some of you might disagree on that, and then again, I'm sure some of you are also quite content with the game. The one thing that I'm really looking forward to is the DLCs and the continuation of the story, because there's so many unanswered questions that I would love to see the answers for. The one thing that I'm absolutely sure about is that the PA at Jupiter, Olympia, is Frostpunk herself. Remus has been destroyed. Okay. Now I'm curious. I thought that ended the game. I'm just experimenting here. Yep, that's quite destroyed. And now if I do this and this.
Administrator, if you are listening to this message, it means the Tycoon has reached its destination, despite the unpredictable parameters that framed the equation of its journey. Crew have found a new home, whether the one planned for or another. These survivors have already begun to lay the foundations of a new cradle, where creativity, invention, and joy can bloom again. Perhaps you already understand why I insisted, why the mission launch was precipitated. When I discovered that the luniclism was inevitable, I also understood that any attempt to save our species after this would have been doomed to fail. You took the helm in the only launch window available to us. Thanks to you, our efforts, our mistakes, our sins and sacrifices will sink into oblivion, into the past, while the first pages are written for a newly born humanity.
Well, I guess that's that. So on that note, thank you all so very much for joining me in this series, and I hope that you enjoyed them, even though there was some oddities going on at the end there. I might play through the game on my without recording it and release a kind of a bonus episode if I can figure out what's going on with the Protagoras PA trigger that didn't happen for me. But if you have any questions and or comments, please feel free to leave those down in the comment section. Remember the community tab thing that I mentioned in the previous episode? Hopefully you will already have had written something in that. So, I hope you enjoyed the series. I hope you enjoyed the game as much as I have enjoyed it. And I hope to see you all in another series on my channel. For now, thank you so much for joining me, and bye.